This is our last segment today, Civil Discourse Now. I'm Mark Small, co-host is Paul Ogden. We're attorneys in Indianapolis, Indiana. We are shooting this on, I think we're shooting, filming, broadcasting, podcasting, computerizing, whatever, on a chilly November day in 2011 from Big Hat Books. It's in Broad Ripple. It's on the north side of Indianapolis, Marion County, state of Indiana, United States of America, planet Earth. Our guest today is Dave Cook. He's an immigration attorney. We were just talking about the idea of open borders, and I might be naive. I might be kind of like,
you are.
Yeah, I know. But it's like if people are suffering someplace, then okay. We owned or controlled over half the world's wealth in this country with 5% of the world's population. And that wasn't because we came up with better inventions all the time. I mean, we did. We came up with a few. But we overthrew governments in Nicaragua, El Salvador, Cuba. We've invaded Mexico a bunch, but they're invading us a bunch now. We overthrew democratically elected government in Iran, and that came back to bite us in the butt major league because the Shah organized OPEC and then kind of squeezed us. And then foreign policy there got really flipped because he was overthrown. And I guess when people are in countries are looking at the United States and they see that we've accumulated a lot of this wealth at their expense, then I wonder how it is that we can be in a moral position to say, well, you guys can't come over here and enjoy the benefits of what we've gotten from you. I mean, we've done it by overthrowing governments, we've done it through invasions, we've done it through different means, and part of it has been through because we're creative and stuff. But also, Chile, we got a lot of copper from them really cheap because Pinochet and people like that were in office, and we had killed Allende. So I guess I agree. There should be limits on people coming into the country if they're felons on parole or if they escaped from a prison. Yeah, I got a problem with that. I don't think that we should be a place where we have no treaty of extradition with anybody else, so that people aren't coming here committing murder. I mean, I wouldn't want Hannibal Lecter to come here because he was able to pick us from the list. But you know, that was kind of an open-ended statement and preaching on my part of what I think our policies should be. And I guess then you look at our immigration law and the way it's enforced, and is it enforced equally? Do we have equal enforcement of the law?
No, we don't have equal enforcement of the law. You know, if you read the mission of immigration services, it generally is to protect the United States borders, to make them secure, to ensure that the people who come into the United States come in via process, to collect those individuals who are not here, to take them in front of an immigration judge to have them removed, and to especially identify those individuals who are the criminal element here, who come and prey on our communities and societies, and to get those individuals out.
Like Rupert Murdoch.
And so there's a whole class of illegal aliens who have lived in the United States for many, many, many years. They're hardworking individuals. They're honest people. They are family, God-fearing folks, and in all other respects would make good United States citizens were they provided some vehicle to be able to do it. And so I think that that's where there needs to be some real revision of what our policy is. I think President Obama tried to do that with that executive directive where he said, let's take a look at these, what we consider to be low priority cases. This young man I'm talking about who's lived here all his life, has never known any other life, committed a minor criminal offense. Is that the type of case, one, that we really want to remove that person? Two, do we want to commit our resources to try and fetter those type of individuals out to put them in removal proceedings? Or should we be thinking about restructuring so there's some way that these people can surface
go through the process and become legitimate United States citizens.
Yeah, how long,
Or we can legalize pot too.
how long does it take from start to finish to go through the national?
Well, it just depends on what your issue is. I mean, if you marry, the quickest way, obviously, to immigrate to United States citizens is marry a United States citizen, because there are all sorts of benefits.
I heard that's not absolute either, is it?
Oh, no, it's not absolute at all.
You can be deported even
yeah.
if you come in. and get
Right.
married.
Well, and they make a distinction about whether you came into the United States legally or illegally. If you enter the United States illegally, you may not remain in the United States during the process of someone petitioning on your behalf, unless there's a couple of exceptions about whether somebody filed a petition for you on before April 30th of 2001 or something like that. But the main issue is whether you came in legally or not. So if you came in illegally, you can be petitioned and marry a United States citizen and immigrate to the United States. You got to go home to your native country to pick up the visa. And once you come home and leave the United States, if you've been in the United States in excess of 1 year illegally, there's a 10-year bar placed on your returning. Now, that 10-year bar is waivable if you can show hardship to the United States citizen relative. But it's just a very bureaucratic process with layer upon layer of problems. And that's what needs to sort of get streamlined, I think.
We had a situation, you brought up Rick Perry. Rick Perry got in trouble in the Republican primary because one of the policies he had in Texas and that he supported was that children of illegal immigrants were to receive in-state tuition. And I'm not sure if that's the rule here or not. Are you familiar with that?
I don't know. I don't honestly know what the rule on that.
I'm not sure either. I do know that, like, one of the studies that I read showed that Hispanic families, by the second or third generation of their being here in the United States, had a fantastic increase in wealth and education because they were able to take advantage of public education here in the United States. And that benefited the United States because those people were able to take advantage of a system that's meant to be a benefit for people who come here.
People on the right would say people who are working here now, people who are illegally are not paying taxes, yet they're enjoying the benefits of.
But they are paying taxes.
Of those taxes other people are paying.
No, they're paying taxes.
Well, they ought to be paying taxes because the Internal Revenue Service makes it a way for them to pay taxes by just getting an I-10 number. You don't have to go get a Social Security number. So, and kind of the implied promise is, no, we're not going to turn you in if you come and get your I-10 number and you pay your tax, then you're going to be good. And in an immigration court, one of the elements, oftentimes, of the ability to stay is a thing called good moral character. And good moral character is discretionary with the immigration judge. And I don't know how many immigration judges will tell me at an initial hearing with my client, I just need to tell you, if you haven't paid your taxes, I'm not going to find you to be a person of good moral character. You know, and I got no problem with that.
Well, as American citizens, that's their whole philosophy is to not pay taxes. But you're telling me if you're immigrant, they need to pay their taxes.
Well, everybody needs to pay their taxes.
Thurgood Marshall said that's the price we pay for a civilized society. So I have no problem with that either.
Mark, you want us all to pay more taxes.
Actually, no, but we can get onto that on a different day. We're getting to the end here. Dave, any final kind of words on what you would think we should do in terms of? I know that there was a bill that was up several years ago. Actually, it was when George W. Bush.
Dream Act.
Yes. No, before that, I think I'm talking about the one where Teddy Kennedy had brokered a deal with his counterpart from the Republican Party, and they were looking at sweeping reforms in immigration, and it would have involved amnesty for people who have been here for a certain period of time, and would have made other
Path to
provisions.
naturalization, it would say it's not.
I'm sorry?
They didn't call it amnesty. They called it path to naturalization.
I know, but that's what it's a common.
Amnesty's a hot button word.
Well, okay, great. Then they would have let everybody stay here retroactively. What do you think we need to do?
Well, I think you got to figure out some better way to enforce
who comes into the country and how you can tell. I mean, you know, I have many clients who came on a student visa 10 years ago and overstayed. Well, nobody ever follows up on that somehow unless they get in some sort of a problem. So kind of shoring up how we determine who's here legally and illegally, I think, is one area. The second area is you have a large class of people who have lived in the United States for 10, 15, 20 years, have lives here, have not been criminal elements, have paid taxes, and especially they've reared children here. There needs to be a way to find a real legitimate path to legitimize those people. Instead of saying you can't have a driver's license and it just drives everybody underground and makes things kind of worse, we need to find some way to identify those people appropriately and provide for them a legal vehicle to become United States citizens or lawful permanent residents, and then we can legitimately demand of them all the things that we demand as citizens. And if they don't want to do that, then they need to leave.
Well, Dave, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This has been Civil Discourse Now. I'm Mark Small, co-host Paul Ogden. Our guest today is Dave Cook, who's an immigration naturalization here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Tune in next week. We're going to talk about economic chaos. Our guest will be David Lumley, who's an investment specialist here in Indianapolis, and somebody else yet to be determined. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
Examples to where, us discussing